Today, I want to talk to you about my favorite books of all time. The first book is A Spy in the House of Love by Anais Nin. It is a dreamlike book about a woman who oscillates between two very strong desires. The first being total freedom and the second being complete romantic devotion. I think a lot of women will find this story extremely relatable. I, for one, faced this exact dilemma when I got into a real, true, safe relationship for my first time. Commitment is very scary. The idea that you have to be good and now be responsible for someone else your entire life if it works out. So the protagonist in this book cheats on her husband constantly, and she says that she will die if he finds out, but yet she can't stop. We need more books on women with commitment issues. The next book is The Beloved Henry and June, also by Anais Nin. This is her diary, and I think it's really interesting to compare fact and fiction. I would recommend reading the first book first, and they both talk about the same topics. And this is an excerpt from when she had an affair with Henry Miller, the very famous author, while she was married. Now, Henry was also married to a beautiful woman named June, and June and Anais also have a very sapphic, toxic female friendship. Henry also still loves his wife, so we really have a throuple here. June goes to New York, and Henry and Anais start this torrid affair, and the entire time they're like, what are we gonna do when June comes back? Obviously, June does come back from New York, and I won't spoil it, but it is juicy, and it is all real. A break from the classics for The Girls by Emma Cline, which is a retelling of the Manson cult murders, but from the point of view of the girls and how the girls in the cult got inducted into it. Now, it's an exploration of the dangers of girlhood and how these very different girl characters all get sucked into this extremely murderous cult and somehow believe that it is actually home and community and safe. You have these very different characters: runaway prostitutes, young mothers, rich, privileged young women, but they all have this shared experience of girlhood that makes them feel so lonely and isolated and easily manipulated that they get sucked into this cult. The last book is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is about a man who sells his soul for everlasting youth and beauty, and he has a portrait of him in his basement, and every time he does something horrible, the portrait becomes old and ugly, but he stays perfectly intact. This book introduced me to the exploration of what people will do to keep the superficial things in life. It reminds me of that Lana Del Rey lyric, "Fame, liquor, love, straight to the heart, please." And this concept is probably more relevant today than it ever is with social media. I mean, if you think about the substance and how similar the plot is to this book, it is always a relevant read.